Hello students, this is Waqar Ahmad, your economics teacher from Cambridge International School, Dasuha. And in today's class, we will not be continuing chapter number 12 that we will take later, but today and tomorrow we will revise chapter number 9 again to prepare this chapter for the upcoming quiz on Monday. So today we will be revising chapter number 9, excess demand and efficient demand. And from this chapter, in today's class, we will talk about excess demand, efficient demand, inflationary gap, deflationary gap, and fiscal policy to control excess and efficient demand. Now, first of all, we must know that what is the meaning of full employment equilibrium. This situation arises when AD is equal to AS or I is equal to S. And in this situation, all the factors of production available in an economy are fully employed. Means there are four factors of production: land, labor, capital and entrepreneurship, and whatever their capacity or amount is available in an economy, that capacity is being 100% utilized. There is no idle or unused land, labor, capital or entrepreneurial capacity in that economy. And this situation is known as full employment equilibrium, which leads to AD is equal to AS. But what happens in real life economies are that there are situations in an economy when AD is not equal to AS. In that situation, either AD is greater than AS, which leads to the situation of over full employment equilibrium or excess demand, or AD is less than AS, which leads to the situation of underemployment equilibrium or deficient demand. Plainly speaking, if AD is greater than AS, it shows that people have got a lot of money, households plus firms both have got a lot of money in their pocket and they want to spend that excess liquidity or excess money. Similarly, if AD is greater than AS, it shows that firms are producing a lot of products, but people have got less money to spend, so firms will be left with unused stock of goods. So now let us talk about the first situation when AD is greater than AS. This situation is known as situation of excess demand, and continuous persistence or availability of excess demand in an economy gives rise to inflationary gap, and inflationary gap leads to increase in general price level in the economy. This is excess demand, and simply speaking, we can say that excess demand is a situation when AD is greater than AS at full employment level. Now, what is inflationary gap? Inflationary gap is basically the diagrammatic presentation of excess demand. It refers to the situation when actual AD, the AD which is available in the economy, is greater than the AD required to establish full employment equilibrium. Say we need 5,000 crore rupees to establish full employment equilibrium, but the current AD is 7,000 crores. So this excess availability of cash of 2,000 crore in the economy is a situation of excess demand, or will create a situation of excess demand, because now the goods and services available in the economy are of worth 5,000 crore, whereas people have got 7,000 crore in their pocket, so they will demand 2,000. So the demand will rise or increase by 2,000 crore, which firms will be unable to comply with, and that 5,000 crore worth of goods and services will be demanded by 7,000 crore rupees. So it will lead to increase in general price level, inflation, inflationary gap. So this is the total situation, how excess demand and inflationary gap occurs or why they occur. So you need to keep one thing in mind, that if there is excess demand, it is implying to the fact that people or household of that economy has got more money to spend than what firms of that economy are able to produce. Now comes the situation of deficient demand and deflationary gap, which are basically just the mirror opposite of excess demand or inflationary gap. So deficient demand is a situation when AD is less than AS at full employment level, and this deficiency of demand will lead to the situation of deflationary gap. So what is deflationary gap? Deflationary gap is again a diagrammatical presentation of deficient demand, which shows that actual AD is less than the AD required to establish full employment equilibrium. Say if the AD and AS required to establish full employment equilibrium are 5,000 crore, then current AD is just, let us assume, 3,000 crore. So there is deficiency of demand of 2,000 crore, meaning that firms are producing goods worth 5,000 crore, but people are demanding goods only worth 3,000 crore. So firms will be left with unsold stock of 2,000 crore. How will firms dispose this stock, or what will be the reaction of the firms in this situation? It is quite simple. When firms are left with unsold stock, they will decrease production. Decrease in production will lead to decrease in employment, and decrease in employment will lead to decrease in income level of the economy. So these are the four situations which you need to keep in mind. As I told you, in excess demand, deficient demand or deflationary gap shows that what the firms in an economy are able to produce is more than what the people have got money to buy those goods and services. And sometimes in videos you must hear this background music of different voices of different animals. So this is just to add the background effect in the videos, nothing more. Some of you might have thinking that there are dogs are barking, cats are meowing, vehicles are going when you are listening to the video. Those are not real voices. These are the special effects created in this software. So these are just to entertain you in between your concentration, so that you could loosen up a bit. So let us go to the present video. So how will we control this situation of excess demand or deficient demand? First, we need to be very clear in our thinking that excess demand means more availability of cash with public, and deficient demand means less availability of cash with public. So in situation of excess demand, we will try and stop public to spend that cash which is available with them, and in situation of deficient demand, we will provide more cash, more money to the public through different direct and indirect mediums, so that they could spend more. Okay, excess demand, stop spending; deficient demand, encourage spending. That is the bottom line you need to keep in mind. So for that to happen, any government can employ fiscal policy and monetary policy. Fiscal policy is implemented by the finance ministry of the economy, whereas monetary policy is implemented by the central bank of that economy. So here we will be talking about fiscal policy. Fisc means state treasury, means how government earns its income and how government spends that income. It is related to the fiscal policy of the government. This fiscal policy has got four instruments: government budget, taxation, public expenditure or government expenditure, and public debt. Out of these four, the middle two, taxation and public expenditure, comes under the scope of study in our syllabus. So now we will be talking about taxation and public expenditure. First is public expenditure, and as the name suggests, it refers to the expenditure incurred by government on its constructive and non-constructive work. So whatever is being spent by the government is public expenditure. How can government use public expenditure to correct the situations of excess and deficient demand? Let us see. In excess demand, government should reduce or decrease its expenditure to the minimum possible extent, meaning government should spend only on those things which are necessary or important. Unnecessary expenditure should be curtailed, and out of this expenditure, generally revenue expenditure is incurred by government during the situation of excess demand because that is necessary. And as far as reduction in expenditure is concerned, government should reduce expenditure in defense and unproductive work. Other than that, government should stop or reduce its investment in public sector undertakings. Both of these actions will lead to less money going from government to households. So less money with households will lead to less demand, and we may be able, or economy may be able to contain the situation of excess demand up to a level. Now as far as deficient demand is concerned, just the opposite should happen. Government should increase its expenditure, which will lead to more money in the hand of households, which will increase the expenditure by public, and AD will increase, which will lead to reduction in. Now comes the taxation policy of the government, and as you are aware that taxes are one of the biggest sources of revenue received for the government, or government rely a lot on collection of taxes. So how does taxes affect the situation of excess and deficient demand? If there is a situation of excess demand, then government should increase the rate of taxes, and if possible should introduce new taxes. Both of these actions will result in less availability of money with the public, because if rate of taxes are increased, then disposable income will decrease, so obviously less income to spend. Similarly, if some new taxes are introduced, that too will affect our disposable income in negative manner, and our disposable income will be less. So less disposable income means less expenditure, and less expenditure means controlled excess demand or control of excess demand. Vice versa, if situation of deficient demand persists in an economy, then government should reduce the rate of taxes. Less taxes will mean more disposable income, and more disposable income means people will spend more, which will increase the demand for goods and services, which will result in more production, more jobs, more income, and this circle of job creation will continue. So we came to know, if there are situation there is situation of excess demand, then government should increase the rate of taxes, and if there is situation of deficient demand, then government should decrease the rate of taxes. Increase in taxes, less disposable income, less demand, help in controlling the situation of excess demand. Whereas less taxes, more disposable income, more expenditure, more demand, more production, more job creation will lead to increase in AD, and we can control the situation of deficient demand. So that's it for today, students. In tomorrow's class, I shall be covering the remaining part of this chapter, which is how monetary policy is used to control the situation of excess demand and deficient demand. I will say that for the coming 2-3 days, you should revise chapter number 9, and should attempt the quiz in a positive frame of mind. So till then, stay healthy, stay inside, stay safe. Bye.